Everyone, Paul here. Today I'm going to talk about MicroStrategy, and I'm going to be talking about a formula that you can use, a strategy that you can use. You can use this strategy for doing options, or you can use it for just looking at the price and finding the moments where it goes up. Now, if you do it with options, you can make money both ways, up or down. But when you do options with MicroStrategy, it's connected to Bitcoin, so it moves more than your average stock. So you can end up making a lot by doing options with MicroStrategy, but you really got to know what you're doing. The contracts are very expensive, especially to get at a good strike price for MicroStrategy to get the best gains out of it. It is pretty expensive. But real quickly, we're going to be looking at like how much it will cost, and then I'm going to go into a strategy. Now, the strategy you can do for options, you can make money with it when it goes up, make money when it goes down with the put. But just keep in mind that the contracts are expensive, and the price moves. The price can move probably around $10 to $20 a day. It all depends, but it moves pretty fast, and it moves faster than most stocks. So I'm going to show you a strategy that you can use. You can use it to do options, or you can use it to find the moments where it's going to go up, and you can get some good percentage gains. But nothing I say in this video is financial advice. MicroStrategy is, if you understand direction and where it's going, you can make a lot. But if you don't understand it, you could lose as well, just as fast. So you really gotta focus when it's doing MicroStrategy. If you're doing options, if you're just buying MicroStrategy, then you just basically wait it out. It's not as bad. But if you're doing options, it's a little bit more risky. You really got to know your charts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the formula that I use, and it really helps show us the good trends and the good signals to make. We're going to be doing 2 sets of moving averages here. I talked about in my last video, and I'm going to be using it for this, and it really helps show you all the good moments to get into trades. But anyway, I'll show you how to set it up. Okay, so to get started here, we are going to be doing 2 sets of moving averages. The first set here, we are going to be doing, you need to go here to your 3 smooth moving averages. 3 smooth moving averages, you're going to click that, and then you're going to set it up to 50, 100, and 200 moving averages. And you're going to keep your colors pretty bright, and I have them all the way up. And I have them more thick, a little bit more thick. Just so you can see the lines better. So the first set of moving averages here is the 50, 100, and the 200. The next one we want to do is we want to go to difference of 2 moving averages, and we want to have the settings be at 13 and 24. So those are your 2 sets of moving averages. So how you're going to do this strategy is the first thing you want to identify is the overall direction. So you're going to be using the 50, the 100, and the 200 to get the overall direction of MicroStrategy. So basically what we can tell, and right now we're looking at MicroStrategy on the day chart, we are seeing that it started crossing right about here. This is where it started going up. So since July 21st, it's been in a bull cycle. So if you notice that ever since it did cross with those moving averages, it's been pretty much going up, because Bitcoin is going into a parabolic phase. But MicroStrategy it's overall been going up with, it goes up, pulls back, goes up, pulls back, goes up, pulls back. That's kind of the pattern. And it's, from what we could tell, because of the moving averages right now, they're all far apart from each other. So we know that the trend is still pretty bullish. There's no sign of it actually getting weaker. It will pull back, but most of this, the strength of it is up. So since we know that the direction of MicroStrategy is going up, that is the direction that we want to focus on. So now that we know the direction that MicroStrategy is going, we want to focus on that direction. So this next step, it's up to you guys what time frame you want to enter. You can enter on the day, you can enter on the 6 hour, you can enter on the hour, but it all depends on what time frame you want to use. And if you want to get paid like intraday, small amounts, or you want to ride it out longer, that's all up to you. Use your own decision for that. But real quickly, we're going to be looking at this on the day chart. We'll look at a couple time frames and see when to enter, when to exit. So right here on the day chart, since we know the direction is up, we want to focus on all the moments where MicroStrategy is going up. So we want to enter our trades every time it comes to a light green with the EMA difference here. So every time there's a light green, and especially if you're doing this on a longer time frame, the longer you go in the time frame, the more you potentially can make. So very quickly, we'll look at this on a couple time frames here. So right here we see MicroStrategy. It went from a dark green to a light green, so we would enter right about here. If we rode this out, now let's just say we held MicroStrategy for about a week. Let's just say a week, because MicroStrategy contracts are pretty expensive. So this works both ways. So like I was saying at the beginning of this video, if you want to do options, you would enter right about here, and you would exit. Let's just give it a week. Let's give it 7 days. This is a $41 difference in price. Like I was saying, it moves about $20. It moves more than your average stock. So this would have resulted you in about a $4,000 gain, typically. So this move for a week, you would have made $4,000 in 1 week. That's how much this moves. So, but if you were wrong in your charting, you would have been down, and you want to make sure you're going with the trend. So we'll look at a couple more here on the day, and then we'll go to smaller time frames. You see it. You see right here where it goes from dark green to light. We know the overall direction's going up, so you would enter here, and you ride this out till right about here. Let's just do 7 days. And this is another $46 difference in price. This is about $4,636. So let's just keep our focus on the direction going up. You'll find big ones and you'll find small ones. So right here, if you came in right here, now this is going to be a small one, but this was just a couple days here. This was 5 days. You would have made about $2,400 in 5 days. So that's a small one. So here we got some brief ones right here. If you wanted to do it this way, we see it turn light green right about here. This would have been a brief one. You still would be in profit. 2 days worth, you made $951. That's a small one. And then you have this one right here, and this was a couple days. And this is a $28 difference in price. So this is $2,854 in 4 days. So real quickly, I want to run you guys by what happens when we know when it's going up, but in the case that MicroStrategy, when we're going into a bear market, I want to kind of go over that real quick, and then we'll look at some other time frames. So when we're in a bear market, the moving averages, the 50, 100, and 200 are going to be going in the opposite direction. So we want to find that moment real quick, which we see a moment like right here where everything's crossing down. This is the moment where you would focus on doing puts because the trend is going down. So we zoom out here. We zoom out. Now this was only a small time period, but I'm giving you guys just a scenario of what happens when it's bearish. Because when it's bearish, you can only do options. When it's bullish, you can do both just buying it and holding and getting high percentage gains, or you can do options. So when it's bearish, you can only do options. So it's the same thing right here. We see that the trend is down, so you would be focusing on light red instead of light green. So right here is where you would focus. You would enter here. You would do a put right about here. You would ride it out, and we want to do a week. So right about here, and this is about $722 for a week, 7 days. So that's just what you would do for when things are bearish, which that's not going to happen anytime soon because right now we are bullish. So real quickly right now, let's look at smaller time frames. Let's look at a 6 hour. Now right now we know that the trend is going up, so we're going to continue to focus. We're going to continue to focus on the trend going up. Right here, we would enter here, and we would exit right here. This is 5 days, and you would have made a $43 difference in price. We have a couple other moments, and we'll look at them on the 6 hour, then we'll look at the hour. So we got one right here where we see it go from dark green to light green right here. So we come and ride this one out for 4 days, and this is a $28 difference in price. This is about $2,813. If you're doing options, that would have been, if you're doing options, this would have been, no, let's just say $2,685. But if you're doing options, that's about $2,685. If you bought in 4 days ago here, and sold about 4 days worth of that, you would have made a 13% in 4 days. So you can easily compound your money doing this, or you can do it with options. It's up to you guys which way you want to do it. You're safer doing it with just buying it, because if you do options, you could risk the chance of, all it takes is it to go $20 in the wrong direction, and a lot of people will lose in options. You really have to know what you're doing when it comes to MicroStrategy. So real quickly, we're going to look at a couple other here. You see this moment right here? This lasted for like probably a day, 3 days right here. This is a $31 difference in price. It's a 17% gain if you just bought and sold. It is a $3,196 move if you did options with a call option there. So real quickly here, we're going to look at a couple more. We see it go from, now right here is the big indicator from it going down from the 0 line. So you would enter right about here. And you can ride this out. Now this took 14 days. I probably wouldn't hold a MicroStrategy option for 14 days because they are expensive. I'd probably just do a week. So we'll go right about here. Probably the closest you get is right about here. This is a $11 difference in price. So you would have made $1,193, or a 9% gain with your compounding it with just buying and selling it. So we'll look at a couple more. So we see it go above the 0 line. We know that we would enter right about here, and we would exit up here. So this is a 21% gain if you just bought and sold. This is a $31 difference in price, so you would have made $3,196 if you did a call option at that point. So real quickly, let's look at this on the hour, and then I think you guys get the general idea. Based on this on the overall trend going up, because that's the overall direction. When it's retracing, you do not do any trades. I personally do not go against the trend. I wait for it to go with the trend because that's what the trend is doing. So we'll look at a couple here. We see that it's light green right here. If we rode this out from here to here, this is about 3 days worth, and you've had $22 difference in price. This is a 13% move with if you just bought and sold. This is a $22 difference in price. So if you did options, if you did a call option right there, you would have had $2,216. Let's quickly look at a couple more. We see it turn from dark green to light right here. If you rode this out, this is a 15% move if you just bought and sold. And this is a $2,339 move if you did a call option at that point. So look at a couple more. We got one right here. This is a couple hours worth. This is only $846 and a 6% move if you just bought and sold. So I personally like doing this on longer time frames. For me, it's worth the wait. For me, it's worth the wait to find this on the day chart. To find this on the day chart or the 6 hour, I'll look at the day or the 6 hour. Once you have identified the overall trend, do it on a longer time frame. You'll make more out of it. I'll do it on the day chart or the 6 hour. Because when you're doing this, you want to make the most out of it. And personally, if I've identified that the trend is going up, I will never go against the trend. So currently, what it's doing right now, we are against the trend. So I personally would not be doing any MicroStrategy plays. I wouldn't be going against the trend. I'd be waiting for it to print back up down here with another light green for my next move. So that's when I would come back in for a MicroStrategy trade. Whether I just want to buy and sell or whether I want to do options. So real quickly before I go, I want to kind of show you guys how expensive these contracts can be. So if we were taking bets on MicroStrategy right now, because we saw that the overall trend's going up, if we want to do 4 days worth, let's look at our best option right now. Like I said, these contracts are expensive. So well, that's a put. Hold on, we want to do a call. Since the direction's going up, we want to do a call. So we want to get the best deal. So right about here. Now, right now, what we're looking at, since it's entering into a Monday, the contracts are pretty expensive. So we're looking about an $8,000 contract for one contract. But if you're right on direction, you can end up making a lot. But the contracts are expensive. They tend to get cheaper as the week goes on, but on a Monday, definitely I wouldn't recommend doing any MicroStrategy. I would just do with identifying the direction that the direction's going up, and I would identify the bullish moments, and I would try to get in all the moments where there's a bullish moment in the market. So like right here, this would have been a good 32%. So if you understand this formula and you can understand the overall direction, you focus on that direction and on longer time frames. And if you do that, the results should actually get better. But MicroStrategy is very expensive when doing options because it moves more than an average stock and it's connected to Bitcoin. So it moves more. So if you don't want to do it with options, I would focus on just finding all the moments where it looks like it's going to go up, buy in on those moments where it's going to go up, and you can scalp it and get some pretty good high percentage gains. I'm not a financial advisor, so anytime you buy or sell, you might pay taxes on it, so please go to a financial advisor for that. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. But anyway, if you guys like this strategy for MicroStrategy, if you guys want me to talk about MicroStrategy more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in future videos.